Spurs fans, you must be happy this Friday morning. What a weekend this is going to be. The news that broke yesterday. This is the morning after Daniel Levy was announced. He is leaving Tottenham Hotspurs. Nearly 2.5 decades of running Tottenham Hotspurs, and Daniel Levy has gone. Forever and a day, Spurs fans on calling shows blaming Levy. It's always been Levy's fault. Well, he is there. Spurs will never take that step forward. They will never, ever make that jump into challenging for the major trophies. He's been at the club 2.5 decades. He's spent 1.1 billion on new players. He's had 12 different managers and won 2 trophies in that whole time. And that's probably where Spurs fans are thinking, thank God, praise the Lord, Daniel Levy has left this football club. Did he leave though? Because the stories coming out are that Daniel Levy was pushed out of the football club. Maybe internally, maybe it was from fan pressure. Maybe they have looked at the progression that Spurs have made over these years in charge with Daniel Levy at the helm and thought, you know what, as good as it is, squad ratio and wage rule and everything like that, and how good Spurs have been in balancing their books, let's not forget, Daniel Levy now has left Spurs, and I think it was Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, has come out and said when he took over his role at Spurs, they were a £43 million a year annual turnover football club. He leaves them. In fact, let me bring it up and tell you exactly how much it actually is and what Spurs are operating at now. When he was there, when he first started, 48 million a year, and he leaves when it is making more than 10 times as much revenue and has had consistently paid out the lowest wage/revenue ratio in the Premier League as the business side of the club was run very effectively. You have had a shrewd operator in there, Spurs fans. But get into the comment section and let me know, are you happy now that you're probably going to be bringing in somebody that's going to, I think, release the purse strings a little bit more. Maybe look at that money that Spurs are making, the masses of revenues that Spurs are bringing in on game days with the new stadium, the NFL situation, the boxing, that venue, the Spurs stadium, everything that brings. Is this now Spurs starting to compete? Is this now Spurs coming forward and saying, we are officially going to be a Big Six side? Now that you're going to be bringing in, I'm guessing you're going to be bringing in someone who is going to be a little bit more adventurous. Look, as a businessman, Daniel Levy has run a very, very tight ship. 24 years worth of running this football club. He's done a good job. And you have to say, off the pitch, he's done a good job. But like we said, them stats at the start stand out, and they definitely don't add up. Where the money has gone up, the money spent on players, 1.1 billion. It's not a lot compared to other football clubs, by the way. So you've got to take that into consideration with this as well. So 1.1 billion spent, 12 different managers. Wow, it's averaging what, every other year? He's been in charge. Near enough. That's a lot, isn't it? It really is. Let me just double check that is. No, it's 13 managers. 13 managers actually appointed. So he's pretty much there, averaging one every other year, near enough, in his time at the football club, which is staggering. It really is. And he's got 2 trophies. That's the one, innit? If you are going to operate at the top level, you need to be winning trophies. He said after the Europa League final, we want to be winning Premier League trophies. We want to be winning Champions League trophies after he'd won that Europa League final. And everybody knows he's just talking absolute crap. There's not a chance in hell that Spurs would ever be competing for the Premier League, for the Champions League, not with the amount of money that this man is spending. You only have to look at what he has spent again this summer, and it's very similar. Back in the Champions League, yes, they brought in some good players, the likes of Kudus, the likes of Xavi Simons, players like this, bringing in a loan for, obviously, Muwani right at the end of the transfer window as well. I honestly don't think that that's Champions League worthy. And the squad depth, really, I don't think is good enough for Spurs. If you really was going to push forward, if you really was going to take Spurs forward, you would have spent a lot more money than that. But going into the stories and what's actually happened, maybe it's not just the Spurs fans this time. Maybe a push internally. Lots of stories and coming around, leaked conversations about it. Daniel Levy wanted to stay. Pressure from the fans was key. Settlement agreement was beneficial. That is a definite on this. In fact, Indy Kelly has posted a conversation he had with a journalist saying, post this ASAP. Daniel Levy has been pushed. Hiya, what do you mean pushed? He's leaving Spurs. Don't know when. Official statement is today. And he actually replied back to him saying, just checked with other reporters. I've not heard anything. Not sure about this. Bang. Same day it happens. Something from inside Spurs changed everything. And I feel like this one has been I don't know, like when you look at the outcry from the Spurs fans, it's been ignored for 2 decades. So it really wasn't the fans. And for them to say here, I think this has been leaked out to try and cover it up, like pressure from the fans. The fans have just come off the back of changing the manager, having won their first trophy in God knows how long, back in the Champions League, spending a little bit of money this season. Good start to the campaign as well, by the way, like in the top 4 already, competing. Spurs fans are quite happy at the moment. This is just like icing on top of the cake right now for their start of season. Yeah, there was a bad result against Bournemouth mixed in there last time out in the Premier League, but Spurs fans, I think, are all right now. So to say that this is pressure from the Spurs fans, I'm not having all of that. Something internally has gone wrong here, and maybe the eventual decision made here is that, are we just going to sit through another season like this? Are we just going to sit through another half a decade of Daniel Levy running this football club the way he has done? Credit to him for keeping Spurs' head above water. But do we need to take the plunge? Do we need to start taking Spurs seriously here again and pushing this football club up and challenging with the big guns? You've seen what Arsenal are doing with their stadium, how much money that Mikel Arteta is spending. Spurs are in the same boat right now, if not run even better. Where's the money going? Yes, you would say that Arsenal are in the Champions League. They're bringing that revenue in. But now Spurs, if they are going to push forward, need to change tactics when it comes to how this football club is run, how much money is invested. Why do it now after the window is finished? That's the question I'm asking. Because if you release them purse strings at the start of the window, maybe Spurs would be challenging and would be right up there. Look, it's been a good start, we know. But that squad, everybody knows, when European football starts, the inexperience of Thomas Frank, as good a manager as he is, and I don't want to ever go at Frank, I think he's a great appointment for Spurs. I really do think that they have snagged the right type of manager there. But it is going to weigh heavy on them. And then if they don't get into the Champions League again next season, which I don't think they will, and then he's straight back down to where he was again, not thinking about what can we spend, like can we afford to spend more. There's surely a push here to say at the start of this summer, we've won the trophy. If you're getting rid of Daniel Levy now, surely that conversations were happening 3 months ago when you had all of that money to spend and you could have gone out and really got business done and got Spurs properly prepared for the Champions League. You might have got Eberechi Eze if you'd have gone in fully and committed early on in the window. Why didn't you? Look, all of this and everything that's gone down, I just think they've got it back to front, Spurs. Like Daniel Levy gone, way, crack out the bunting and the party poppers, let's celebrate down at Spurs. But I think they've missed an opportunity here. I think he should have gone sooner. Spurs fans, let me know what you think. Get into the comments section. Daniel Levy pushed out internally at the football club is massive news. But somebody's bottled it somewhere here, I feel. And this should have been done right at the start, so they could have really made an impact this window. Get your comments in below. Remember to hit that like button as well, everybody. Make sure that you do subscribe to Football Talks as well, and I'll see you all in the next video.